Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. So before starting our reading, let me offer my obeisances to His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and my obeisances to all my listeners, begging you your mercy so I can find the right words. And please forgive all my shortcomings and my broken English. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadipa Sachade Satarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kantarada Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangita Devrindavaneshwari Vishavana Suchi Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakau Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Status Quo, Chapter 7, Further Inquiries by Vidura. So, Vidura and Maitreya. And the verse today is verse 12. Savai nivṛtti-dharmeṇa vāsudevānukampayā bhagavad-bhakti-yogena tirodhatte śanair. Translation Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Saha, that, vai, also, nivṛtti, detachment, dharmeṇa, by engagement, Vāsudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, anukampayā, by the mercy of bhagavat in relation with the personality of Godhead, bhakti-yogena, by linking up, tirodhatte, diminishes, śanair, gradually, iha, in this existence. Translation: but that misconception of self-identity can be diminished gradually by the mercy of the personality of Godhead, Vāsudeva, through the process of devotional service to the Lord in the mode of detachment. Again the verse, but that misconception of self-identity can be diminished gradually by the mercy of the personality of Godhead, Vāsudeva, through the process of devotional service to the Lord in the mode of detachment. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The quivering quality of material existence, which comes from identification with matter or from thinking oneself, under the material influence of philosophical speculation to be God, can be eradicated by devotional service to the Lord, by the mercy of the personality of Godhead, Vāsudeva. So this quivering quality of material existence is like the moon. When the moon reflects on a pot of water, when the moon reflects on the pot of water, and because the wind is interacting with the water, So that reflection of the moon is quivering. So there's some way. So we are parts and parcels of the Lord. And when we are in this material nature, our nature is covered, and is, it says here, it's quivering, the quivering quality of material existence. But actually, we are the same quality as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, in a different degree, but we are the same quality. It's like the gold. It's a big piece of gold and a small piece of gold. So the small piece of gold, it's the same quality of the gold, but it's very diminished. Like the drop of the water of the ocean. It's the same quality as the water of the ocean, but in a very diminished part. So we are the same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but because we are in this material existence, it seems like we are quivering because we are related with the senses, material senses, related with the material body. And this identification with the material body, with the material senses, is possible to be eradicated, as Prabhupada says here, by devotional service. Devotional service to the Lord, so we can obtain the mercy of the Lord. So no one can be free from the miseries of material existence without being favored by the Lord. The process of bhakti-yoga give us knowledge and detachment from this world. Vāsudeva bhagavati bhakti-yoga prayojitaha śanair Vāsudeva Bhagavati, the service to Vāsudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga, devotional service to Vāsudeva, brings Janaya Chiyashu Vairagya, brings detachment from this material world, and knowledge. Detachment and knowledge. These are the natural results by offering, engaging oneself in devotional service to the Lord. By engaging oneself in chanting the Lord's name, by engaging oneself in the service of the Lord. So we obtain knowledge, detachment, and we obtain the mercy of the Lord. Without being detached from this world, without having knowledge of our relationship with God, we cannot receive the mercy of the Lord. So the Lord, He reveals Himself only to those who are bhaktas, only to those who are devotees. Like He says in the Bhagavad-Gita, avajananti mamuda manusintanum ashritam. I do not reveal myself to the fools, for then I'm covered by this material nature. But one devotee, because he's not covered, because he is detached from this material nature, because he has knowledge about himself and his relationship with God, so they are not covered. They are they are completely situated in the transcendental nature of the Lord. So then one is able to get the mercy of the Lord by the process of bhakti yoga, bhakti. Prabhupada says, as discussed in the First Canto, Because the application of devotional service to Lord Vāsudeva invites pure knowledge, it quickly detaches one from the material conception of life and thus revives one's normal condition of spiritual existence, normal condition, even in this life, and frees one from the material winds which cause one to quiver. So our normal condition is to offer devotional service to the Lord. So we are servants of the Lord. This is the nature of the soul. We have a relationship, eternal relationship with the Lord. So that's a normal condition. When we are quivering, when we are in distress, when we are suffering, when we are in ignorance, this is because our senses are engaged in this material phenomenon, which is the material world. As soon as we surrender to the Lord, as we said, we develop this detachment, we develop knowledge, and then these material winds cease. Only knowledge in devotional service can elevate one towards the path of liberation. The development of knowledge for the purpose of knowing everything without rendering devotional service is considered fruitive labor, like the fruitive labor of the jnanis. The jnanis, they are trying to understand their transcendental nature, but that's not enough. One has to realize that Vāsudeva Sarvamiti, Vāsudeva is everything. And then the jnana or jnani, he has perfect knowledge, and then he attains the Supreme. So this is called Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is for those who understand Vāsudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Such a Mahatma is very rare to find because they engage themselves in the service of the Lord. Lord Vāsudeva is pleased by devotional service only, and thus his mercy is realized by association with pure devotees of the Lord. And the mercy of the Lord is realized through the association of pure devotees. Without the mercy of the devotees as well, we cannot attain. Because Krishna is actually very merciful, but he is going to give his mercy through the Vaishnavas, through the devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord. Because they are the giver of bhakti. Bhakti, devotion. So as it says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that we are in this material world going up and down, different bodies, but then we receive the seed of devotional service from Guru. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. So we are in this material world, here and there, here and there, here and there. And then we receive the grace of the spiritual master, a pure devotee. He plants the seed of devotion, and then we start our devotional service. Pure devotees of the Lord are transcendental to all material desires, including the desire for the results of fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. A pure devotee of the Lord has no desire at all. It's completely detached from these words. It's like a sheet, a white sheet. A white sheet, you cannot see even a ink, any mark on that sheet. So there's some way a pure devotee, he doesn't have any tinge of material contamination, because he's always engaged in thinking about the Lord. He's always engaged in devotional service. A pure devotee of Krishna, he is 100% Krishna conscious. For him there is no attraction for this material world. They are engaged, completely engaged in the service. For this reason we have to surrender to those souls who are completely free from any material desire, any tinge of material contamination. Those are the devotees, and they are very kind with the living entities. They are patita pavana. They are very, very merciful to those who are falling in this material existence. When they see that we are engaged in the service of the Lord, they are ready to bestow to us devotional service. Actually, devotional service is possible only by the grace of a Vaishnava. We can do our efforts, we can make efforts, we can practice, we can do our austerities and be engaged. And when the devotee sees the sincere desire of the sadhaka, the bhakta, then he gives bhakti, he gives devotional service. Prabhupada says, if one wants to acquire the mercy of the Lord, he has to associate with pure devotees. Such association alone can, by degrees, release one from the quivering elements. So I'm going to read the next verse. It's verse 13. Jadendryo paramuta drastamani pariharo vilyante tadaklesha sansupta seva kritnasa. Yada, when Indriya senses uparama satiated, Atta thus drastri atmani unto the seer, the super soul, pare in the transcendence, haro unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, viliante become merged in, tada at that time, klesha miseries, sansuptasya, one who has enjoyed sound sleep, eva like kritsnasa, completely. Translation by Prabhupada. When the senses are satisfied in the seer super soul, the personality of Godhead, and merged in him, all miseries are completely vanquished, as after a sound asleep. It's like when you go to bed, you have this sound asleep, no dreams, you're completely free from all kinds of miseries. For this reason, we are so attached to sleeping. We are so much attached to sleeping because when we sleep, we forget the miseries of this existence. But if you are not in sound sleep, actually the miseries continuous because when we have these bad dreams. But when you are in the deep sleep, then you are free from all miseries. But actually being free from all miseries is when the senses are satisfied with, as it says here in this verse, in the seer super soul. When our senses are completely satisfied in serving the Lord, we don't have other desire, then we are, or the miseries of material existence, they are completely vanquished. Miseries of birth, disease, old age. There are different miseries. Klesha, as it says in this verse. Miseries caused by the nature, miseries caused by our own mind, our own body, misery caused by other living entities. So the conditioned soul are always being smashed, being completely chastised by all these kleshas, the miseries of material existence. Prabhupada explains in the Purport, the quivering of the living entity as described above is due to the senses. Since the entire material existence is meant for sense gratification, the senses are the medium of material activities, and they cause the quivering of the steady soul. So this material existence is meant for sense gratification, for acting without the Lord. When you try to lord over material nature. So for this reason there is this existence, because the nitya-siddhas, the eternally liberated souls, they are constantly in engagement, in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They don't need this material existence. This material existence for the weak souls which are manifest in the tatastha shakti and the marginal energy of the Lord. So Prabhupada says, therefore these senses are to be detached from all such material activities. According to the impersonalists, the senses are stopped from work by merging the soul in the super soul Brahman. The devotees, however, do not stop the material senses from acting, but they engage their transcendental senses in the service of the transcendence, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the key for the success. It's not to destroy our desires. And there are some philosophies, they say that you have to destroy, you have to finish all your senses, all your desires. But no, the key of the success is to engage the senses in devotional service. Is to engage, because when the senses are engaged, so there is no danger of any material encumbrance. There is no danger of the material nature disturb us. It's like in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, Devi hiya shaguna mai mama maya durachaya. Durachaya is very hard to transcend this material nature. But one who is engaged in devotional service very easily can attain the service of the Lord. Devi hiya shaguna mai mama maya durachaya. Mamevadi prabhajante. One who surrenders, then mama prabhajante. And when one surrenders to God, this material nature is very easy to overcome. Otherwise, it's impossible. So the key of the success in spiritual life is to engage our senses in devotional service of the Lord. To engage our legs in going to the pilgrimage sites, going to the temple of the Lord, the eyes to see the beautiful form, Archa Vigraha, of the Lord, the ears to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to hear the message given by the pure devotees of the Lord. So our mouth engaged in speaking, in giving this message of Srimad Bhagavatam. This way we can very easily be free from the miseries of this material existence. So in either case, the activities of the senses in the material field are to be stopped by cultivation of knowledge. And if possible, they can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Cultivation of knowledge. That's essential. This is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga means to understand these material elements, to understand earth, water, fire, mind, intelligence. All these are material. It's like in Bhagavad-Gita it says, Bhumira pona lovayo kamano bhujireva chahankara ityame bina prakriti astada. It's the inferior energy of Krishna. But beyond this inferior nature is the superior aparas. Apareyas tvanyam prakritim vitimi param jivam bhuta mahabaho jajadanjara darayate jagat. Above these material senses, above this material body, are the living entities who are superior to the inert matter. So therefore the living entity, when develops knowledge that one is transcendental to this material body and engages in devotional service of the Lord, then one can transcend the material existence, not by engaging our senses in the material world. No. As it says in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks Krishna, how can I recognize one who is in transcendence? And then Krishna says, one is like Kurma Ganiva, like Kurma turtles. The turtles withdraws the members inside itself when it sees a danger. So the same way a transcendentalist, when he sees that his senses are engaged in material activities, he withdraws his senses and he engages his senses in devotional service. Nivṛtti-dharmeṇa, by the pleasure, by the taste of devotional service, by experiencing the highest platform of devotional service, one fixes oneself in God consciousness. Prabhupada says, the senses are transcendental in nature, but their activities become polluted when contaminated by matter. So self-control, it's very, very essential for our advancement in God consciousness. Without self-control, we cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. So we have to do our part. It's like in Bhagavad Gita, it's not that Krishna just taught Arjuna and said, be enlivened. No. Krishna said, you go and fight. I'm giving you knowledge. Now it's up to you to follow my instructions or not. You can reject my instructions and do not serve me, do not hear me, or you just hear me and follow me and do whatever I said. So it's up to you. So it's up to us if you want to make advancement or not. It's up to us. So spiritual life means we are active. We have to be active. We have to be proactive. We have to be eager to serve the Lord, eager to control our minds, eager to be engaged in devotional service. So we have to do our part. We have to treat the sense to cure them of the material disease, not stop them from acting as suggested by the impersonalists. The impersonalists, they deny the senses because actually they are afraid. They are afraid. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who wants to be engaged in devotional service should give up fear, anger, lust. So this fear of when we leave this body, what's going to happen? So the impersonalists, they have this fear because they can understand that the senses, they are so miserable in this material existence. So why should I have the sense? Why should I engage my sense? So they try to avoid, they deny deny the senses. But this is not real philosophy. As Prabhupada says here, our senses are by nature, they are transcendental. We have to engage our sense in devotional service. Like the Buddhist philosophy, oh, I have a toothache, so let me put it out. I don't want this tooth anymore because it's giving me trouble. No, the best is to cure the tooth. Any good dentist, when he sees that your tooth is bad, so they're not going to say, okay, let's put it out. No, they are going to say, let's cure it. So the same way we can experiment, we can experience miseries in this material world. But we're just going to negate that? No. We have to be able to engage our senses in the service of the Lord, and then we're going to experience a higher taste. Nivṛtti-dharmeṇa. In Bhagavad Gita 2:59, it's said that one sees all material activities only when satisfied with a better engagement. Better engagement. Consciousness is active by nature. It cannot be stopped from working. Artificially stopping a mischievous child is not the real remedy. The child must be given some better engagement so that he will automatically stop causing mischief. It's like the adults, they want to have their meeting and the children are there. So what they do with the children, they give some painting books so they can do color books, they can play with the books, play with some toys, and then they will be engaged in that way. They will not disturb the adults. So there's some way, the sense they have to be engaged. Parandristvami. They have to be engaged in devotional service. When the eyes are engaged in seeing the beautiful form of the Lord, the tongue engaged in tasting prasada, or remnants of foodstuff offered to the Lord, the ears are engaged in hearing His glories, the hands engaged in cleaning the temple of the Lord, the legs engaged in visiting His temples, or when all the senses are engaged in transcendental variegatedness, then only can the transcendental senses become satiated and eternally free from material engagement. The Lord, as the super soul residing in everyone's heart, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world, far beyond the material creation, is the seer of all our activities. So Krishna is seeing. Savasatyaham ridisa nivisto. He's in the heart of all living entities. Mata smriti-dharmeṇa apohanancha. Mata, from me comes smriti. Smriti-dharmeṇa apohanam. Smriti, knowledge, remembrance. Smriti means remembrance. Remembrance that we are servants. We are His parts. Smriti-dharmeṇa, He gives knowledge. In apohana, He gives forgetfulness. When He sees that we don't care about God, so He gives us forgetfulness. We forget about Him. So Krishna is in the heart of all living entities, and He is the seer of all our activities. So if we show our eagerness to serve Him, so He is going to reciprocate. Prapajanti, to those who render so. Our activities must be so transcendently saturated that the Lord will be kind enough to look upon us favorably and engage us in His transcendental service. Then only can the senses be satisfied completely and be no longer troubled by material attraction. So this is the way to be free from material attraction. The way to be free from material attraction is to serve the Lord. So thank you very much. Thank you for those who have listened and those who will listen. And Dharma Arroyo, he came here, minhas reverências, my obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.